Hello and welcome to CTV News across Canada for Tuesday, February 3rd. We've got the top local stories from coast to coast, stories that affect you and the country. Thanks for joining us.
The call to 911 came in the middle of the night.
It was a call from a family member that actually got there first, and then he called us right away.
Longueuil police say that person is considered a witness and has been questioned. Police say a 56-year-old man and a 54-year-old woman were declared dead on scene. Police say both people lived at the address but can't say if they were a couple. They did say a bladed weapon was found, and police say it was possibly used on both victims. Different theories as to what happened are being investigated, but police point out they are not looking for a suspect.
So far, with the signs that we have, nothing can tell us that it's related to anybody that could be like walking around the neighborhood or being like violent with the neighborhood.
A source tells CTV News that police have received calls from that home before. A man who is the owner of the home had previously faced several charges, including assault, uttering threats, and harassment. But according to court records, the charges were withdrawn.
There are a lot of theories on the table, and none of them are rejected right now. We are really trying to figure out which one is more possible than the other.
To help with their investigation, Longueuil police are asking anyone who might have heard something or would have information to call them. And that information can be given anonymously. Matt Grillo, CTV News, Brossard.
It was around 6:30 this morning at this car dealership when a woman was hit by a snowplow.
A private contractor was plowing snow in the parking lot and tragically backed up and struck a pedestrian who was cutting through the parking lot at the same time on foot.
That pedestrian, 54-year-old Tina Kleik, a beloved aunt, cousin, and sister.
Tina was so much to so many. She never missed a niece or a nephew, a hockey game, basketball game, volleyball game, birthday. She was there for everything, for everybody in the family. She was a rock.
Making her way into another shift at Sobeys, where she's worked for 22 years. Paramedics took her to hospital where she died of her injuries.
We were devastated. We were shocked. Still right now, it's still really hard to comprehend because it happened very unexpectedly.
Toronto's police chief says it was snowing at the time and there were pretty substantial winds, meaning visibility was definitely an issue. Police got security footage from the dealership and checked nearby businesses and homes.
We do have a couple of witnesses that stopped and provided statements to investigators, so we're getting a very clear picture of what happened.
The plow truck has been seized for mechanical testing to ensure everything was working, but the chief says at this point it does not appear to be criminal in nature, rather a tragic accident. The sidewalks, snow-covered. Police say the woman appeared to be cutting through the parking lot in an effort to save time on her way to work.
We have a driver of a vehicle that went to work this morning not intending to be involved in something like this, and we have an innocent person that was making her way to work this morning, and that was the last thing she thought would happen. So tragedy all around, no doubt.
A sentiment echoed by the town's mayor.
Our thoughts are with the family. Who wants to wake up to hear this?
Now they're left with a shock and heartbreak.
Tina was the most positive person you could ever come across in your life. As soon as you met her, you'd want to meet her again. You want to be around her. You want to see her. You want to talk to her.
Callum Smith, CTV News, Truro.
16-year-old Eishia Hudson was shot and killed by police following a high-speed chase that ended here at Lagimodiere and Fermor. Now, almost 6 years later, an inquest into her death is underway.
Eishia Hudson deserves justice.
The hearing began with a traditional ceremony and opening statements by family members.
It's just painful just listening to the experience of the family and just hearing the hurt and the pain.
Hudson, an Indigenous teen, was fatally shot by police in April 2020 after a robbery at a Sage Creek liquor mart and a chase with a stolen Jeep. The vehicle she was driving crashed into another vehicle at Lagimodiere Boulevard in Fermor. The inquest will examine whether the use of force was appropriate and if systemic racism played a role. The province's Grand Chief hopes recommendations from the inquest will lead to changes to prevent this from happening again.
We're not looking for, any criminal or liable decisions, I guess, so to speak, within this process. We're just looking at the systemic change.
Manitoba's police watchdog, the Independent Investigation Unit, cleared police in 2021 of any criminal liability.
This investigation was a complete and thorough review of all available evidence. I'm satisfied that no stone was left unturned.
NDP MP Leah Gazan also wants to change how police are investigated. She feels the IIU is not fully independent.
I don't think former police officers, people that are involved in the system, are an impartial voice.
The inquest resumes tomorrow.
Jeff, who's allowed to take part in this inquest?
In 2022, a judge made a ruling allowing Hudson's family to participate, as well as the Winnipeg Police Service, the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs Family Advocate, as well as the Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth.
All right, thanks for this, Jeff.
Loading up packages of produce at the Ontario Food Terminal, where the city buys in bulk for the student nutrition programs funded in this year's budget.
No child in this city should have to learn on an empty stomach.
Mayor Olivia Chow unveiled her version of the 2026 spending plan today.
Very proud of it.
New in the mayor's budget, an additional 5% tax break for small businesses and money to help seniors stay in their homes. In a spending plan that also boasts a TTC fare freeze, expanded library hours, energy-saving incentives for homeowners, and more.
We can and we will build an affordable, caring, and safe Toronto.
All while maintaining an inflationary 2.2% property tax hike.
This is a pre-election budget. Mayor Chow is trying to buy Torontonians' votes. She is hoping that people will forget about the record-breaking tax increases she's thrust upon the city over the past 2 years.
The mayor's budget launch certainly felt like a campaign-style event. The document itself reading like a campaign platform at the beginning of this election year, but Chow was stopping short of confirming whether she will run again.
Will you be a candidate for the election, or yes or no?
I don't know. What I am focusing on is delivering an affordable and caring, safer city.
Voters see through that.
Councillor Brad Bradford, who has said he will run for mayor, accusing Chow of raiding the reserves on the eve of an election.
We have never, ever in the city's history had a raid on the reserve account to the tune of $500 million, $512 million. So the context matters, the proportion matters. And Mayor Chow is just kicking this financial can down the road to next year on the other side of the election.
I hear that from people that are actually running for election. That's what they're talking about. That's not what I'm focusing on. That is the, all that language about raiding this and that, which is not true.
Torontonians, meanwhile, taking in all the tax talk.
Bills have to be paid somehow.
I'm happy with 2%, even although we should be paying more.
To me, I think it should be lower, but 2.2% is fair.
Chow now set to sell her spending plan to taxpayers and voters, hoping to take her budget to the bank.
That 2.2% property tax hike and all the other spending contained in this budget still needs to be approved by full council. It goes for a debate and a vote next Tuesday. Reporting live at City Hall, I'm Natalie Johnson. Michelle, over to you.
Thank you, Natalie.
Intercoms blaring lockdown at Maple Ridge Secondary School in the south end of Barrie this morning as police cars swarmed the school.
So early this morning I received a call for a robbery at the school involving a firearm. Officers attended and made quick arrest of the 3 suspects.
One suspect seen here being walked to a Barrie police car. Police confirming the firearm was a handgun, leaving students on edge about what was happening.
It lasted about 30 minutes, I'd say. We just had to sit down in the classroom and wait for it to be resolved.
I was really concerned. Because, everyone just talks. But, yeah, we were good. I was with my friends. And
I was kind of shook and the adrenaline started pumping, so I didn't know really what to think. But once the adrenaline was gone, I started to get a little, nervous at the end.
Parents rushed to the school, waiting on the edge of the property to see if their children were all right.
My heart really jumped. And I just rushed to get here. See, I don't even have my big jacket on. I just wanted to come and see things with my own eyes.
The school board said the lockdown was in place this morning, with the school being in a hold and secure until the end of the school day.
Initially, the school was put into a lockdown, which is doors closed, locked, and students away from that door. Certainly no one's answering that door. Hold and secure is the next stage, and just allowing students a little more freedom within the building, but still keeping them safe within their classrooms.
Police letting parents and the public know this was an isolated incident.
Try and make the communication as clear and as timely as possible. We understand, we're all parents. We understand that when something like this happens, we're going to have grave concerns for our kids. That's natural.
There were no injuries reported. Police have not stated what the motive was, and the 3 15-year-old boys appeared in court this afternoon. They cannot be identified due to the Youth Criminal Justice Act. Now, the school board confirming to CTV News this afternoon that the school will be operating as usual for tomorrow with additional support on site for teachers and students who feel like they need some support in dealing with what happened today. Reporting live in Barrie, I'm Luke Samard. Sarah, we'll send it back inside to you.
Early Sunday morning, bullets peppered a home in this sprawling Crescent Beach neighborhood. A small fire was also burning outside the property on Crescent Road and 132nd Street. Police believe it was extortion related. The residents were home.
They're understandably shaken up, but thankfully no one was injured.
With ramped up patrols due to these chronic crimes, Surrey police officers were able to track down 3 men who tried to escape in a rideshare. They were arrested and 2 vehicles were seized.
Our officers are in the right place at the right time.
Police are releasing their photos. 21-year-old Harjot Singh, 19-year-old Taranveer Singh, and 21-year-old Dayajit Singh Billing have been charged with 1 count of discharging a firearm. Police say during the arrest, 2 of the men failed to comply.
These are the highest public safety related calls that we go to. We don't know if individuals are armed with a firearm or not. One of the individuals failed to comply with the verbal directions from the officers and began to actively resist. And as we are trained, he was taken to the ground and he was safely handcuffed.
The SPS say all 3 are foreign nationals and have been reported to Canada Border Services Agency. Meanwhile, a group of Surrey residents held another protest on Monday in solidarity with the victims of these crimes.
They feel intimidated. They feel like they can't make a difference. When we stand together for the public good, everybody wins.
It's very alarming, and the safety of our community is at stake right now.
Community members say they're happy to see the recent progress made by authorities.
And this is actually the 2nd one in a row. So this is making people feel a little bit better that, something is happening, and hopefully we are very hopeful that this continues.
Police say there have been 46 extortions in Surrey this year and 29 victims, 17 of which are repeat victims. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Surrey.
A column of smoke stretching into the sky a little after 7 this morning as crews fight to put out the flames at a home on Seawind Trail.
Got up and I saw the flashing of the lights and I saw the orange from the fire.
Across the street, Sid Vandenheed saw and felt the flames.
I could feel the heat over here inside.
Has it spread to the next house?
Not yet, but Jesus,
Sid's wife asking the obvious question about the fate of the house next door.
So I'm looking out my window there. That is the only window that faces the side of their house, right?
At the house next door, Ann Holler says she heard the fire before she saw it.
Very, very scary. I heard some noises and I didn't know where they were coming from in the house. And all of a sudden I noticed there was cracks in my window in my living room. And I looked out and all I saw was a wall of fire next door.
Holler says her first thought went to her next door neighbors.
First thing I looked at it before I called 911 was to see their driveway, because they always have vehicles parked in the driveway.
Waterloo Fire confirmed no one was in the home at the time of the fire. They say it's too early to say what caused the ignition. The Ontario Fire Marshal is investigating.
100% I thought my house was going. The way the flames were so huge.
Aside from a few broken windows and melted siding, Holler says she feels lucky her home didn't suffer the same fate.
Incredible team. We're very blessed that we have fire departments that are pretty close to the neighborhood, right?
Waterloo Fire say 5 of their 6 trucks were brought in to keep this fire under control. Deputy Chief Jake Herring says flames spreading to other homes was a real possibility.
When they're this close together, these larger size, couple thousand square foot homes, they take up quite a bit of the footprint of the lot. And yes, there is a lot of potential there for exposure to the adjacent structures. And the crews did a great job of stopping that.
Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Waterloo.
New Porter nonstop service to Miami and Phoenix out of Ottawa has Catherine Mongi and David Mora rethinking travel plans.
We might consider going because flying direct is better, of course.
The airline says these new routes are focused on leisure travel for Canadians looking to escape the winter.
Miami is always sunny, so you can actually go for a little vacation and coming back it's closed.
The biggest thing that really comes of it is that people here no longer have to connect through Montreal, Toronto, so I think that those nonstop options have been really successful.
The new routes, however, come at a time where travel to the U.S. is down. According to Statistics Canada, in December 2025, transborder traffic to the U.S. dropped 12.5% from the previous year.
The Canadian traffic going into the United States is a little bit softer, but during cold winter months, that sunshine is ever alluring, and then businesses will be connecting, and so we hope that this is just a short-term blip.
Porter Airlines notes its passenger volume to the U.S. is down by 5%.
People are still enjoying the southwest of the United States. A lot of people in Canada own property down there. So essentially, we're giving people what they're looking for, and we're looking for those nonstop options out of a great partner in Ottawa.
Later this year, nonstop flights to Sudbury, Windsor, and Kelowna will originate from Ottawa instead of Toronto, signaling a shift in strategy as the airline looks to position Ottawa's airport as a growing hub for its network.
For Ottawa to be Porter Airlines' primary hub in their network is real, and it's actually happening. Flights coming inbound to Ottawa creates boundless opportunity in order to make us that connecting hub for not only traffic into Ottawa, but for points beyond and outbound as well.
For Mongi and Mora, more nonstop flights, especially within Canada, is welcome news.
Having more options for direct flights is really good. We can visit more places in Canada that we were not considering before because it's now easier.
Nonstop flights from Ottawa to Miami was launched this week with 3 flights per week. Ottawa to Phoenix will launch on February 7th with, again, 3 flights a week. The airline is also extending its service between Ottawa and Cancun through the summer with, again, 3 flights a week. Patricia.
Some options. All right, CTV's Josh Morano live for us tonight. Thank you.
The city of Calgary has offered transit riders free service through a 2.5-kilometer stretch in downtown for decades.
The free fare zone kind of started as a pilot project in 1979 when there was no LRT at the time. It was 15-cent fare and the bus only ran from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so it's kind of a legacy that's stuck around over the years.
But now Ward 3 Councillor Andrew Ewell and Ward 6's John Pantazopoulos want to find ways to enhance transit, and that could mean removing the free fare.
All options are on the table with this notice of motion, and I think the place that I would like to focus our subsidies would be our low-income transit passes. That's where the most vulnerable need a subsidized transit system.
The motion to be presented Tuesday calls on the city to undertake a comprehensive review of the downtown Calgary transit free fare zone. It points to looking into the financial implications of establishing downtown as a fare paid zone by studying any projected changes in fare revenue, the cost of increased enforcement, and the feasibility of a tiered fare structure. Some students say the free fare is vital for their commutes.
It's a big help for us, like me as a student. So, yeah, I think we should keep it.
I can't live without transit, and I can't imagine how difficult it's going to be for people that have to renew their tickets every 60 minutes, which I think is kind of insane. And then also the upping of prices with the tickets, I think that's ridiculous.
The motion includes consultation with the Calgary Downtown Business Association, Tourism Calgary, the Chamber of Commerce, and post-secondary students. But some Calgarians would support changes to the system.
I mean, some minimal charges. Yeah, it will be good for government also. Because free, it's all of loss, right? No benefit.
Cyclists are being forced to maneuver around chunks of ice as crews continue to clear the city's network of bike lanes.
It's been a challenging winter with heavy snowfall and lots of freeze and thaw cycles so far, but we have been hearing lots of complaints from folks about particularly ice on active pathways.
Ryan Jakes rides his bike almost every day during the winter. He says he's not alone.
In January, this saw an average of 136 cyclists ice every day, and it's cleared within 24 hours of a snowfall.
The bike lane along 110th Street at 87th Avenue is considered priority 1. This active pathway is in good shape compared to some others. We found a few bike lanes in rough shape near 76th Avenue.
I would say that it's been a challenging winter for all types of transportation networks. We have had a bunch of ice, a bunch of snow, and then followed by rain, thaw, freezing all over the place. So we're having troubles on a lot of different types of pathways.
The city says the equipment used for roads and bike lanes is different.
The active pathways crews are primarily composed of manual or small equipment operators. They are not the ones who drive the truck plows, the big, large equipment. They aren't the same people.
Like roadways, bike lanes also have a priority system, with priority 1 lanes cleared within 24 hours.
Finding ways to clear ice, whether that's more brushing, a well-groomed path, maybe some more anti-ice brine, just ways to make the cycling a safe option during the winter for all Edmontonians.
The city says it's looking for ways to improve snow and ice removal on active pathways for next year. Councillor Ann Stevenson says that includes potentially reintroducing the use of calcium chloride. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
Seed in canola.
John Kodalak, who has been seeding canola on his family farm in Balcarres for decades, says there are always challenges to overcome when it comes to growing a high-yield crop. But Chinese tariffs were a source of major stress, especially combined with rising costs elsewhere.
When it's that kind of uncertainty, it does put stress on, and you're trying to figure out how to pay the bills and get everything done. And, you know, the price of fertilizer, chemical has all continued to increase.
Now, less than 2 weeks after an agreement between the Chinese and Canadian governments, the tariffs are down to the point producers like Kodalak have a bit of breathing room.
From what I've seen, the basis is almost dropped in half, and once you get to that level, it's in the area of making money again.
We're seeing, I think, about 600,000 tons that are on their way to China. So that is exactly what we needed for to retain some profitability in this year's crop year, but also to provide some certainty for our seeding intentions in next year.
A professor of agriculture and resource economics from the UFS says the reason for the purchase was based on China running out of canola supply from other markets since imposing the tariff on Canadian agricultural products in March 2025.
Their only other really viable option was Australia, and they'd put a ban on importing canola from Australia due to blackleg in Australia. So they had to lift that ban, but I think they were running out, you know, their domestic supplies were dwindling, and they were obviously putting some pressure on the Chinese government to come up with an agreement with Canada.
Although canola is taking a positive turn in the market right now, Kodalak says there's more work that needs to be done to keep it that way.
Should get guys a little more happy to grow canola next summer. I mean, we could get hit again with tariffs. You never know, but it's part of the life of farming nowadays.
Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
An obituary posted on Monday described Dominic Cross as a kind, fun-loving fella with a heart as big as his smile. The 14-year-old Cross died after a collision involving the snowmobile he was riding and a pickup truck. The crash happened on Road 92 near Line 23 in Zora Township.
I mean, every club member we have and every snowmobiler in the area that I know, just heavy heart.
Brandon Bowen is president of the Thamesford Snowmobile Club. He went to the scene on Saturday to help snowmobile trail riders navigate around the scene. He says there have been tremendous strides to make snowmobiling safer for all.
7 years that I've been helping, I've never seen something like this in our area.
In Ontario, anyone with a valid driver's license can ride a snowmobile. A person between 12 and 15 can obtain a motorized snow vehicle operator's license. That can only be used on private property or designated snowmobile trails, which are groomed and maintained by clubs.
We install with volunteers all the trail signage, you know, your stop ahead, your stops, your speed limits, all the appropriate signage that OFSC requires for the trail.
Dominic Cross was a grade 9 student here at Ingersoll District Collegiate Institute. On Monday, the Thames Valley District School Board dispatched a team to try and help students and staff deal with his loss. In his obituary, Dominic was described as a lover of all sports, with his favorites being fishing and hockey. He was a U15 player with the Thamesford Minor Hockey Association. A celebration of life will be held at the Unifor Hall in Ingersoll on Saturday evening. In Ingersoll, Jerry Dewan, CTV News.